Hello everybody and welcome back to OMB Reviews. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope we're doing well, and today we're going to be talking about, well, let's just say it's that incident that happened between Chris Rock and Will Smith at the award show that does not matter anymore, and why I think this event is so incredibly important for highlighting two very key events, which also then leads to a discussion and really first starting off with talking about and thanking everybody for showing up to last night's Wednesday Raven Awards, where there was no cases of assault or violence, but instead a lot of good fun, and YouTube even taking down the stream for a bit due to copyright violations. Before we go any further into this bit of news, and also about the show and where to find the Raven Awards uncut, and what I have planned for this year's Raven Awards as well, please make sure you smash that like button, light that fire button if you're watching over on Odyssey, and also make sure that you are subscribed to the channel with that bell notification turned on. That way you know every time a new video or live stream goes live on the channel. So again, thank you to everyone who showed up for the Raven Awards last night. It was very successful as far as viewership. Definitely one of the highest viewed of the Raven Awards thus far. Even though we did lose a lot of people once YouTube decided to take the stream down. That's why I do multi-stream over on Odyssey and DLive and other places, because you can't stop the signal, and those other platforms are a lot better when it comes to, you know, actual rights and actual understanding of copyright law. Anyway, with all that being said, I do plan on having, I do already have on Odyssey an uncut version of it. That way you get to see my reaction in live real time as YouTube takes the stream down. I am in the process of trimming out some of those segments from YouTube, as of course, when it comes to YouTube itself, I would not put it past them to try and put a strike or take down the channel altogether for just, you know, having those clips in there. But I do plan to have an even higher quality version of the video in question up over on my Odyssey channel, so please make sure you check out that Willow link at the top of the video, and that way you can get access to my Odyssey channel and get access to that higher quality video. With all that being said, though, let's talk about this, because to me, this event showcases two very important things. The first of those things is that if you are rich and you are a part of the elitist class, you have privilege. That's right, privilege exists, everybody, but not in the way in which you would expect. We always hear about white privilege, right? But the real privilege is really class-based privilege. And there's no better example than what has happened between Will Smith and Chris Rock, because Will Smith literally walked up to, on live television, and assaulted Chris Rock. It was assault. No matter how you spin it, it was assault. And a normal person would have been arrested. A normal person would be facing months in prison, massive fines. Will Smith? Not as of yet. Of course, Chris Rock probably won't be charging, or rather won't be pressing any charges against him. I would just hazard a guess that he wouldn't do so. And I imagine that the state and the city probably won't be filing charges on his behalf either, even though it was a televised event, and it definitely seems to, in a way, glorify violence by the very fact that it was indeed shown, and the apologies, so-called apologies that have been received by and for the Academy have really been that lackluster. I think that this, again, showcases another very important thing. Not only that privilege exists, and it's amongst the elitist class, regardless of race. Again, this is class-based, elitist-based privilege. That absolutely exists. But it also showcases another thing. The Oscars do not matter. That's the other thing as well, because guess what? What is this year's Oscars going to be remembered for? Is it going to be remembered for Coda winning Best Picture? Absolutely not. In fact, people are going to be forgetting what even won the Oscar for Best Picture this year, just like they have for the last several years. Most people, if you were to ask them on the street, hey, yeah, what's won the Oscar for Best Picture? What won the Oscar for Best Picture this year? They're going to say, I don't know, but did you see Chris Rock get slapped by Will Smith? This is such an incredibly important event because, one, first off, I don't condone violence. Violence is terrible, and I think that Will Smith, what Will Smith has done, I think he deserves to be punished. I think that just like any other normal Joe, he should be fined and sent to prison. That's what I think should happen. But it's not going to, because, again, even if he does get any type of repercussions, it's going to be a slap on the wrist in comparison to what a normal person, you know, one of the plebes, one of the regular everyday people would have to actually go through, because, again, elitists have that protected privilege, regardless of race. That's the other thing I think this kind of shows, and again, it kind of does away with, is the understanding that, oh, you know, white privilege, excuse me, then how can you explain someone literally assaulting someone on live television don't need to have any real investigations into it because we see it for ourselves. How is it that that person gets no repercussions, at least no initial repercussions? And even if there are any repercussions, let's be honest, they're not going to be very, very strong. So again, we have this clear case of assault. We have this clear case of privilege. So thank you very much for this event, because it shows you and shows very clearly that this privilege exists, but it's based on class lines, not on racial lines. And secondly, as well, it just shows how irrelevant the Oscars are, because any person talking about the Oscars today and for the next several years are going to talk about this moment in time and not about the films. They're not going to talk about Dune winning several Oscars. They're not going to talk about Coda winning all 3 of its Oscars and its nominations. They're not going to talk about any of the other things that happened. They might talk about the identity politics that was filled throughout the entirety of the show in speeches, in the so-called host of the show as well. They might talk about the fact that Hollywood continues to show itself to be completely irrelevant and incompetent by showing that they haven't even read the Florida bill that they mentioned several times apparently throughout the entirety of the show. And so again, I think that this event, even though it's terrible and even though I condemn the actions of violence, deserves a bit of thanks because it exposes the Hollywood elite, it exposes the irrelevancy of the Oscars, and it exposes the irrelevancy of the classist mindset that exists within Hollywood. And I think that this should, if this hasn't woken you up yet to what's going on in Hollywood, to the lies that Hollywood perpetuates on a daily basis. Again, people who watch this show prior to this moment, because I bet a lot of people tuned in after this moment happened to try and see the replay. But of course, that's not how things work on the Oscars. Maybe that's what the Oscars need to do. Maybe the Oscars need to have some violence on their show. Maybe that's how they're going to get people to actually start talking about their show and actually start caring about their show. That's why many people thought that this was a publicity stunt. But if you actually saw the uncut footage, because they bleeped out, of course, the language that was used by Will Smith, which was disgusting. But in other countries, they did not. And they showed very clearly that, no, Will Smith was incredibly angry at the joke that he made about Will Smith's wife. He came up, assaulted Chris Rock, and then continued to curse him out. So I'm glad that this has exposed Hollywood in so many different ways. And as you can see, the Academy's this is their apology. The Academy does not condone violence in any form. That's it. That's their apology. Tonight we are delighted to celebrate our 94th annual Academy Award winners. Hey, let's talk about the Oscars, right? People care about the Oscars, right? No. They don't. People aren't going to talk about this. Instead, they're going to talk about the other things that happened. They're going to talk about the act of violence. Again, even here, they're trying to play cover for Will Smith. A show that Will Smith drives off a cliff still had moments and winners that should not be overlooked. We can't overlook the importance of these people and these Oscars. They don't matter. Again, this has absolutely done away with it. It was a dismal scene without any apparent consequence for what had just gone down. Exactly. Doesn't seem like there is going to be any consequence for his actions. They also are trying to say that he apologized for it as well, and his so-called apology is about as crappy of a so-called apology. Love makes you do crazy things. Is that his apology? It says Smith added in a speech that no one ever thought about playing leadoff music. In a speech that no one ever thought about playoff music. Again, this is just ridiculous. So he doesn't really even apologize for it. He may have apologized to the Academy, but he didn't apologize to Chris Rock, the person that he assaulted. And here's where we are. Here's where we are. A classist society on full display. This man, no repercussions whatsoever. In fact, wins an Oscar after assaulting. It's ridiculous. And this is the reason why you should instead check out my website, OMB Reviews, over on Odyssey, because as you can see, we had the 4th annual Wednesday Raven Awards last night, and it was a blast. And this is where you can get access to the actual Oscars boycott, the 4th annual Wednesday Raven Awards, where Spider-Man No Way Home took the top award of the evening. I know, River. I know that you are excited. Don't you fight. Don't you... See, now I'm getting verbally assaulted by my dog, River. River! That's enough. Anyway, I guess she would do well and be best friends with... But I guess that she would be best friends with Will Smith was what I'm trying to say. Anyway, so make sure you check out my Odyssey channel, so that way you can get the uncut version of it. I do plan on re-uploading, though, a more high-quality version, because the things that got me in trouble with YouTube, that got the things that got the stream literally taken off. It was offline for quite a bit, for several minutes, and so I plan on re-uploading it with a higher quality version of those videos, because Odyssey will actually host those, because they understand fair use, because they understand actual copyright violations, etc. So if you are trying to watch the show on YouTube and you're having any technical issues, part of it is that I am clipping out some of those extra scenes that got copyright noticed and copyright flagged. But if you do want to see the full show, I do recommend checking out over on Odyssey as well. But what are y'all's thoughts about this insane situation? Again, I think it's a terrible situation, because it really, I think, highlights assault. Because what you see, and what I think children especially, with any young person, because I guarantee you the thing that my students are going to talk about today is, hey, did you see Will Smith last night? Did you see Chris Rock get slapped by Will Smith? And I'm going to respond by saying, yeah, I did. Did you see a rich man not get any repercussions for his action? Because that is ultimately what this Oscars is going to be remembered for. And River, as you can hear behind me, is ticked off about it. But anyway, what are y'all's thoughts about this? Do you think that obviously this is a terrible event, because it is assault? River, I know. It's crazy. Do you think this is a terrible event, right, with the assault, but also that it also is a positive thing in that it exposes Hollywood. It exposes the Hollywood elitism. It exposes the true privilege that exists amongst the Hollywood elite, that is based on economic lines and not on racial lines. And also, do you agree as well that it shows you just how irrelevant the Oscars are, because no one is going to talk about anything when it comes to the actual awards themselves, or even the terrible political speeches and the terrible political jokes that were said throughout the entire night, but instead for these events themselves. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you like this video, smash that like button, loud that fire button. If you're watching over on Odyssey, I apologize for River. She is in just quite a mood today, because she knows that if she had done anything similar, she'd be put in the pound. Not Will Smith. Privilege. It exists, just not in the way that it's always talked about. Anyway, thank you guys very much. And again, thank you to everyone who showed up for the last night for the Wednesday Random Awards. It was an amazing show and awesome experience. You guys are all amazing and beautiful people. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, God bless. And now for a huge shout out to all of my March Patreon Subscribe Star and Locals members. Starting off first with my Patreon members, animation commentator Brandon, let's go Brandon, Brian P., Christopher Bowman, Father Christopher Miller, hail to you, Father, Father Damian Cook, Fuzz Aldrin, Garrett Searles, Hannibal Grimm, Harold Francis, Hymir Ari Hymason, Inflamed Wood, Jacob Juice, Jeff Toon, Joe Horn, Jonathan Carney, Gomer Kyle 79, Laura, the Modern Major General Story, Mike Jackson, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mondo Spieler, Mr. Peabody, On to June, Orange Chat Reviews, Out of Step with Reality, Rosetta Allen, Stan Andrian, Miss Martin Muses, Theodore Bendon, Tina Bojan, and of course Tina B, the Empress of the Universe. Also a shout out to my Subscribe Star members, starting off with Trent Johnson, Matt 317, UAB Mad Dog, Mike Jackson, Storm Tracker, The R, Nosferatu Gatsu, Stan 4, John B, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, J. Alex McCarthy Jr., Dean Heiss / the new number 2, J-Rod the Beer Guru, and ZK Man. And a final shout out to my Locals members, Kara Tharp, UAB Mad Dog, Mike Jackson, and Robert Barnes. And lastly, a huge shout out to my newest Locals member, Brett D90. Thanks, man. Thank you all so very much for being supporters, monthly supporters of the channel. And if you want your name shouted out at the end of every single live stream and every single video, please check out the pinned, the very top link in the video description. It is noted as the Willow link there. It'll bring you to basically a link tree of all the different places that you can support on Patreon, Subscribe Star, or on Locals. And also there are other tiers that you can get access to as well, including an Army of Asgard level where you get not only the shout out, but you also get access to a giveaways channel that I have on my Discord, where you get offers of giveaways, or rather you get access to giveaways of 4K titles, Blu-rays, digital codes, all kinds of stuff, steelbooks, It's just, I'm giving away stuff all the time over there, and it's a lot of fun as well. So go check that out if you're interested. There's also the Keeper of the Bifrost level, which is the higher level up than that, and you get everything from the previous tiers. Plus, you get access to a once or twice a month podcast that I do with John the Flickpick Flickinger, where you get to ask us Q&A, right? You get to ask us questions, any question that you like, movie or non-movie related. We will answer them once, maybe twice a month. We're trying to work on a second opportunity for us to have a show, but right now it's at least once a month. So again, you get access with that with the Keep of the Bifrost level. And then there is the Chosen of Valhalla level, the very premium level, where you get access to all of those things. Plus, you get to be featured on the channel once a month with me and the other Chosen members, where we talk about movies and stuff, anything really that the Chosen want to talk about. And it's always a very fun discussion. We usually have about 3.5 hour discussion. So again, that's what you get access to at the Chosen of Valhalla level. Also, you get a free t-shirt during your first month. All you need to do is just let me know what t-shirt you want from the store, and also their size, location, etc. And I send those out anywhere in the world. Anyway, you guys are all amazing and beautiful people. Thank you all so very much again for your love and for your support. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, God bless.